Hello, it's me again, Anna. Welcome to episode 2 of Shrink, aka my slimming world journey. I've had fantastic week. I've been following the plan 100%. I had all of my healthy extras. I stuck to my sins. I had plenty of speed food, so I thought to myself I had amazing week. I woke up this morning, rushed to the kitchen where my scales are, got on the scales, and I was furious. It showed that I've lost half a pound. Absolutely gutted. I was livid. I don't know how many other words I can use for that, but I was not happy. So at the moment, as I was standing there, I thought to myself, I need to have something bad to eat. So, and then I had this little another angel on the side saying, "Oh, actually have something on the plan." So I had one of those sandwiches that I mentioned last week. So with the Linda McCartney cheese, egg and beans on top, it felt like I had something really naughty, but it was still on plan. So I'm happy with that. And during that time when I was eating it, I actually thought about the weight loss I had, and I'm actually happy because it's still a weight loss. It could have been a gain. And if you look at it, 3-4 weeks ago, I've been eating junk food, and I simply could have been doing that, maintain the weight, but be unhealthy. Where I still followed the plan, I ate healthy, I started having really shiny hair. My skin's better. I'm actually wearing less makeup than I did last week, and I think it actually looks a little bit better now. So I rather have that with half a pound loss than having other problems and not fitting in my clothes. So I'll take it. I'm just gonna reset today for the new week ahead. Whatever's last week is last week. Today starts new week, new 7 days. So my favorite meal of this week was Cajun chicken with sweet potato chunks with veg. It was unplanned meal. I had a lot of stuff in the fridge and in the cupboards, and I couldn't be bothered to go to the shop. So I flattened the chicken that I've had in my fridge, and I sprinkled some Cajun seasoning on top. And with the potato, I just cut in the bite-sized chunks, and I sprinkled this on top. It's chip seasoning. It is free, and you can get it anywhere. I think this one's from Asda, but surely other supermarkets do it. I just sprinkled some on top, tossed it around, sprinkled some more, put some fry light on it, and stuck it in the oven for half an hour to 120 degrees. I used the fan setting. I don't know how it would work for you because each oven's different, each cook is different, so that's what I used. For in 220 degrees, it makes the skin a little bit crispier, so it tastes a little bit more like sweet potato fries rather than just baked sweet potato. It was delicious. I absolutely loved it. Maybe I'll make it again. I don't know. You can have a look at the meal on my Instagram, which is linked to this page. If you don't want to, that's absolutely fine. I'm not gonna push you on that. My sin of the week this week was rice and corn snacks. I found it by accident. I just fancied something crispy like at the time, but I didn't want to have crisps. I normally get one of those light versions of Walker's or any cheaper versions of that. But I just didn't fancy that because recently I find them quite greasy. Even though the light version, I just find them quite greasy. So I picked those. I didn't even know how many sins they would have, but I picked them. I actually thought that they were Snacker Jack, but then I came back home and they're actually Lidl's version of them. The pack is 5.5 cents. They're really full of flavour. I really enjoy them. They actually last longer than crisps because normally with crisps you will have this much and rest of it is air. Where those are actually quite full packet. That's where I'm touching. That's where the snacks are still on top here. So that's quite a lot, and they're quite thicker, so they last longer as well. I absolutely love them. 5.5 cents. I think it's quite good. I think Snacker Jacks might be a little bit lower in cents, but I'm not sure. I've never actually had them before. And last week, like I said before, I had days when I didn't use any of my cents, so I'm quite happy to use 5.5 for those because I'm not using all of my cents, so they're really good. There's another flavour of those, which is sour cream and chive. I think they're 5.5 cents as well, but I actually prefer the sweet chili ones because they have that tanginess. They're very like tangy, and you have that aftertaste after you eat them. Where those, you can still taste the flavor, but it's milder, and I like strong flavors. I like spicy food, I like sweet food, I like anything that just gets straight through my taste buds, if that makes sense. And let's talk about drink. I am not going to be talking about alcohol this week, purely because I drained the subject last week, and the weather has been quite different this week. It's not as hot. It's a lot of, not a lot, but a little bit of rain going on, so I think people would not think of having refreshing can of beer or refreshing gin. I think it, for me at least, it's more likely to have a cup of tea, which I actually have 2 boxes here. One of them is very berry. It's very nice. It's like the forest fruits, but obviously it's Lidl's version of any of the flavored teas, really. It's 80 grams, 40 tea bags, and it's about 65p, I think, per box. They're really good if you like flavored tea. I really liked it, but my favorite one from this line is raspberry and peach. It's very tasty. You can taste that peachy flavor, which is really nice, and I think that sometimes it's actually better to have the flavor, because you might just crave something that tastes like, I don't know, in that case it would be peach, but you might not wanna eat an actual thing, so just have the tea. My theory is that everything obviously has calories, so whatever diet you follow, it will still have calories. Even on Slimming World, you still consume calories, and you might not have to count them like on other diets, but they still have calories. So I don't really know how many calories would the peach have, but you can have like raspberry and peach flavored tea for like 1 calorie or 2 calories instead of like whatever many calories the peaches are, if you know what I mean. But that is just obviously my theory. Sometimes I rather have like less calories than actual thing, which might not be good, but that's what works for me. And obviously, if you look at it the way that you might have someone quite big come into the group, you will see quite a big loss on the first or second week. And I think purely it's that, because whatever they've been eating, obviously it will be some sort of junk, and they switched their plan to Slimming World plan, which is actually quite healthy. I know it's NHS guidelined as well, so it's very similar. If you look on the NHS website, Slimming World is very similar, and I know that they follow the NHS guidelines anyway. Obviously they will be consuming much less calories than they would normally. So let's say they will have like 4,000 calories a day, and then they change it to 2,000 calories. That is 2,000 calories deficit a day. So obviously they are gonna lose weight, and I think that's why you have so many people getting to their target weight and they cannot lose that weight, because they just on the plateau because they're eating the same calories. So obviously that is only my theory. That's what works for me. You don't have to agree, you don't have to follow it, but that's exactly what works for me, and I'm sticking to it. And sometimes I just don't eat as much, even as much fruit, because it still have sugar in it. Obviously not as much sugar as it would be chocolate, but that is just my opinion. You might not have to agree with me, which is absolutely fine. But moving on to the next week, my plan is to continue writing everything down in my little book here, and maybe I'll try some of the recipes. I simply just didn't have time because I work so much, and I just thought I'm just gonna do it when I'm actually fully off for like a week or two on my holiday. I might try some of those recipes. So I'm writing everything down. I've got plan for the next week written down already. So that is, writing it down is actually my plan, but also I decided to have much more water because I struggle with my water intake. So I've got one of those bottles. They are from Home Bargains, I think. They're like £2.50. It's actually my second bottle because my first one broke. I used it so much. It has like a little numbers and hours when you should be drinking water. So I'm gonna try that. I didn't follow drinking water as much in the past few weeks simply because I see quite a lot of people at work, and I was quite worried that if I leave this on the side, if I have a person walking past sneezing or even breathing, it might go on my bottle, and that's how I would get coronavirus. It might sound silly, but I was taking any precautions, but I think it's quite safe to go back to it now. So I think that's it for today. I'm gonna catch up with you in the midweek with my special co-host. I'm not gonna say who that is, but you'll meet him then. And thank you for watching my video. I will appreciate any comments, subscribing, anything. Everything's good. And I will see you next week in Shrink. Thank you for watching. Bye.